She woke up in a luxury hotel room, in a Virgin Millionaires shirt and nothing else. The manager appeared like smoke, all smiles and apologies directed at Aiden while treating Amara like furniture. Money talks in Miami, and hers whispered while it shouted from every thread of his designer suit. Have you ever misjudged someone based on first impressions? Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. Warm welcome to the family. Enjoy the story. She counted the crumpled bills one more time. $8.47 short of saving her mother's life when a Greyhound pulled into Miami and changed everything. The glass towers of South Beach reflected the setting sun like golden mirrors, each one representing more money than she'd see in 10 lifetimes. Amara stepped off that bus with nothing but a worn duffel bag, her interview confirmation letter, and the kind of desperate hope that makes you do crazy things. 3 jobs back in Atlanta weren't enough. Not when the doctors said her mama needed $15,000 for the experimental treatment that could save her life. Not when stage 4 cancer was winning and time was running out. This cruise line interview was her last shot, her final $200 gamble on a bus ticket to Miami. Her worn sneakers felt foreign against the marble lobby floor of the Grand Oceanic Hotel. Crystal chandeliers hung overhead like frozen fireworks, and every surface seemed to cost more than her yearly rent. She clutched that interview confirmation letter like a lifeline, trying not to notice how the other guests stared at her thrift store blazer and patched jeans. Have you ever felt completely out of place in a world that wasn't meant for you? When desperation forced you into spaces where you didn't belong? Tell me in the comments below. The memory hit her hard. 3 months ago when her ex-boyfriend Marcus had proposed. She'd loved him, but how could she say yes when Mama's medical bills would crush them both? Some sacrifices you make alone. Can I help you? The hotel clerk's voice carried that polite coldness reserved for people who clearly couldn't afford to be there. I have a reservation, Amara said, sliding the confirmation across the marble counter. Room 412. The clerk's frown deepened as he checked his computer. His fingers clicked across the keyboard like he was solving a puzzle he didn't want to solve. I'm sorry, miss, but there's been an error. Your room. It appears to be double booked with our penthouse guest. Mr. Blackwell specifically requested. His words were cut off by the ding of the elevator and footsteps that would change her life forever. The most powerful man in Florida stood frozen in a hotel lobby, staring at a woman who looked like she'd rather disappear than ask for help. Aiden Blackwell moved across that marble floor like he owned it, which he probably did. Custom Italian shoes, watch that cost more than most people's cars, and the kind of quiet confidence that comes from never hearing the word no. But when his eyes met Amara's across that lobby, something shifted in his expression. Surprise, maybe even relief. Mr. Blackwell, the clerk stammered, suddenly finding his manners. There's been a booking error with room 412. I can hear, Aiden said, his voice carrying the authority of someone used to fixing problems. He looked at Amara, really looked at her, in a way that made her skin warm despite the hotel's Arctic air conditioning. She'd seen plenty of rich men in Atlanta, the kind who threw money around like confetti and expected gratitude in return. But something about his stare felt different, like he was seeing her, not just her circumstances. The lady was here first, he said simply. The clerk's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Sir, your suite reservation can wait. Aiden stepped closer to the counter, close enough that Amara caught the scent of expensive cologne mixed with something warmer, more human. Give her the room she paid for. I don't need your charity, Amara said, chin lifted despite the tremor in her voice. Every instinct screamed at her to be grateful, to smile and say thank you like a good girl. Instead, she doubled down. I just need what I paid for. His response surprised them both. I wasn't offering charity. I was offering respect. Have you ever misjudged someone based on first impressions? When someone's kindness felt too good to be true? Share your experience below. The manager appeared like smoke, all smiles and apologies directed at Aiden while treating Amara like furniture. Money talks in Miami, and hers whispered while it shouted from every thread of his designer suit. We'll find you another room, miss, the manager said, not quite meeting her eyes. A standard room, the clerk added, fingers dancing across his keyboard with newfound efficiency. As the manager handed her a key card, Aiden stepped closer. Close enough that she could see gold flecks in his brown eyes. Close enough to notice the way his jaw tightened when he watched how the staff treated her. "The restaurant downstairs," he said, voice dropping to a whisper only she could hear. "Meet me there at 8. Not for business. Just because I'd like to know your name." She should have said no. Should have grabbed her bag, marched to that standard room, and focused on tomorrow's interview. Instead, she found herself nodding, not knowing this simple yes would destroy both their lives. She borrowed a dress from the hotel gift shop and walked into the most expensive restaurant in Miami, not knowing she was stepping into a carefully laid trap. The black dress cost more than her monthly grocery budget, but desperation makes you do expensive things. Amara stood at the entrance to Maria, watching crystal glasses catch candlelight like captured stars, feeling like an actress playing a role she didn't understand. Aiden rose from a corner table when he saw her, and the smile that crossed his face made the overpriced dress worth every penny. He moved to pull out her chair with the kind of old-fashioned manners that felt genuine rather than performed. "You came," he said, and she caught something vulnerable in his voice. "You sound surprised. Most women in Miami want something from me before they'll have dinner. You haven't even told me your name." "Amara." The word felt different in this space, like it belonged to someone braver than she felt. "And you're the famous Virgin King." His laugh came out rough, almost bitter. "That's what they call me. 33 years old and never been linked to a woman. The media loves a mystery." The server approached with wine that probably cost more than her bus ticket, and Amara watched Aiden taste it with the casual expertise of someone who'd never checked a price tag in his life. When he nodded approval, the server poured her glass with ceremony that felt foreign and thrilling. "Why haven't you ever?" she asked, gesturing vaguely at the space between them. He set down his glass, studying her face like he was trying to solve a puzzle. Hard to trust someone's motives when your net worth gets announced before your name. "You're the first woman who's looked at me like I'm just a person. What's more attractive, someone's money or someone who sees you for who you really are? When did you last feel truly seen by a stranger?" Comment below. Their knees brushed under the table as he leaned forward, and electricity shot through her like she touched a live wire. This was dangerous territory. The kind where poor girls from Atlanta fall for rich men who live in different galaxies. "Tell me about your interview tomorrow," he said, and the genuine interest in his voice made her chest tight. "Cruise line job, customer service." She didn't mention the desperation, the medical bills, the way her mama's breathing got shallower every day. "It's a good opportunity. You don't sound convinced." "It's just..." She took a sip of wine that tasted like liquid gold and felt courage bloom in her chest. Sometimes you take opportunities because you need them, not because you want them. Something shifted in his expression, recognition maybe. "I know that feeling." Thunder rumbled outside as their conversation flowed like that expensive wine, easy and intoxicating. He told her about growing up with money, but not love, about business partners who saw dollar signs where friends should be. She found herself sharing stories about Atlanta, about working 3 jobs, about the way her mama still made her favorite cornbread, even when the chemo made everything taste like metal. The restaurant began to empty around them, but neither wanted to break the spell. Outside, photographers crouched behind luxury cars, long lenses focused on their corner table, capturing moments that would become weapons. As he walked her to the elevator, lightning flashed against the windows, turning the world outside into a black and white movie. "My interview's at 9 tomorrow," she said softly, not wanting this night to end. "I know," he replied, and something in his voice made her look up. "What if I told you there might be another option? Something that could help your mother, and let us figure this out?" She should have asked what he meant, should have demanded details before her heart started racing. Instead, the elevator doors closed around them like a golden cage, and she whispered, "Tell me tomorrow." Neither of them noticed the photographer's flash through the lobby windows, or the way their reflection looked in the gold elevator doors. Intimate and unaware, like 2 people falling in love who had no idea their private moment was about to become public property. She woke up in silk sheets that weren't hers, wearing a shirt with his initials, with no memory of how she got there, and a photographer's flash going off outside the window. Sunlight streamed through massive windows overlooking Biscayne Bay, the view worth millions framing her panic. Amara sat up in bed, heart hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. The silk shirt fell to her thighs, expensive and foreign against her skin, while camera flashes exploded like lightning from the street below. This wasn't her room. This was a penthouse suite with floor-to-ceiling windows, modern furniture that belonged in magazines, and art on the walls that cost more than her mama's house. Her clothes were gone. Her memory of last night ended at the elevator doors closing, Aiden's promise hanging in the air between them. On the nightstand, a note written in precise handwriting, "Don't panic. You're safe. Hey, safe." The word felt like a joke as photographers pressed against the windows 15 floors below, long lenses pointed up at her like accusations. She stumbled toward the bathroom, catching her reflection in mirrors that showed too much truth. Tangled hair, smudged makeup, and on her collarbone, a mark that looked suspiciously like a bruise from someone's mouth. The door burst open and Aiden rushed in, hair disheveled, still wearing yesterday's shirt with the sleeves rolled up. His eyes found her immediately, scanning for injury with the intensity of a man who'd been terrified all night. "Thank God you're okay," he breathed, and the relief in his voice was so raw it made her knees weak. "What happened?" Her voice came out smaller than intended. "Why can't I remember?" "Someone drugged your wine." His hands clenched into fists at his sides. "I found you passed out in the hallway outside your room. The key card was on the floor, your purse scattered. I couldn't leave you there. Have you ever woken up somewhere unexpected? How would you react if your private moment became public scandal? Share your thoughts below." She wrapped her arms around herself, the silk shirt providing no real coverage against his worried stare. "Did we?" "No." The word came out fast and fierce. "I would never. I slept on the couch. I was waiting for you to wake up before I called the police." Relief flooded through her so fast it left her dizzy. But the cameras outside kept flashing, and his shirt on her body told a different story to anyone watching. "My interview," she said suddenly. "What time?" "It's 11:30. The cruise line interview. Her last chance. Gone." His phone buzzed against the marble counter, the sound sharp in the morning silence. Aiden's face went pale as he read the screen. "What is it?" she asked, though part of her already knew. He turned the phone toward her, and the world tilted sideways. A gossip website headline blazed across the screen. "Virgin Billionaires' Secret Night. Exclusive photos inside." Below it, a photo of them at dinner, her hand on his arm, both looking intimate and unaware. Her laugh caught in the camera's flash, his smile soft in the candlelight. To anyone looking, they were clearly falling in love. More photos followed, him walking her to the elevator, their reflection in the gold doors, standing close like lovers sharing secrets. His hand on her back as they entered his private elevator. The story painted her as a gold-digging waitress who'd seduced Miami's most eligible bachelor. It painted him as a hypocrite whose virgin image was just marketing. The comments below were worse. Cruel assumptions about her race, her motives, her worth. "Someone's been watching us from the beginning," he whispered. The photographers outside pressed closer to the windows, and Amara realized with crystal clarity that her old life, her quiet, struggling, invisible life, was over. Whatever happened next, there was no going back to being nobody. She looked at Aiden, this man who tried to protect her and ended up destroying them both, and made a choice that scared her more than the cameras. So what do we do now? By noon, she wasn't just a woman in a scandal. She was the trending topic that was destroying 2 lives in real time. The hotel lobby had transformed into a war zone of flashing cameras and shouting reporters. Security guards formed a human wall, but nothing could block the cruel questions hurled like weapons. "How much did he pay you? Was this your plan all along? Is it true you're just a waitress from Atlanta?" Amara pressed herself against the service elevator wall as Aiden's security team planned their escape route. Her phone buzzed with notifications she was afraid to check. Missed calls from her mama, from friends back home. from numbers she didn't recognize but whose intentions she could guess. "Twitter's calling you the Virgin Hunter," Aiden said quietly, scrolling through his phone with a grim expression. "Instagram's worse. There are already memes." She grabbed his phone and immediately wished she hadn't. Her face stared back from dozens of posts, each one crueler than the last. Comment about her hair, her skin, her clothes. Assumptions about her character that cut deeper than she'd expected from strangers who'd never met her. "They found my mama," she whispered, showing him a photo someone had posted of the Atlanta hospital where her mother was receiving treatment. "Someone's been to her room." The fury that crossed his face was swift and absolute. "They won't get near her again. I'm hiring security." With what right? The words exploded out of her before she could stop them. "You don't know me. We had dinner. That's it. Now you're offering to pay for security for my family, like I'm some kind of responsibility you picked up. Have you ever been judged by people who don't know your story? How do you handle public criticism or assumptions? Tell me in the comments." He stepped closer, close enough that she could see the gold flecks in his brown eyes, close enough to catch his familiar scent despite the chaos surrounding them. "You're not a responsibility. You're..." "What?" she challenged. "Your girlfriend? A business partner? What exactly am I to you?" The service elevator dinged, and his security chief gestured for them to move. But Aiden stayed frozen, staring at her like he was trying to solve an equation with too many variables. "I don't know yet," he said finally, and the honesty in his voice hit harder than any lie would have. "But I know I'm not letting them destroy you for having dinner with me." They rode down in silence, surrounded by men in black suits who treated celebrity scandals like military operations. Through the service exit, into a car with tinted windows, speeding through Miami streets while reporters gave chase like something from a movie. "Where are we going?" she asked. "My place. It's private, secure." "No." The word came out sharp enough to cut glass. "I need to go to my room. I need to call my mama. I need to..." "Your room's been ransacked." The words hit like a physical blow. "What?" "Hotel security called 20 minutes ago. Someone broke in, went through your things, left a message." The car pulled into the hotel's service entrance, and they rode up to her floor in grim silence. The hallway buzzed with police officers and hotel security, but nothing prepared her for what waited inside room 412. Clothes everywhere, suitcase dumped and torn, her interview outfit shredded on the bathroom floor. On the mirror, written in red lipstick, "Go home." But it was the manila envelope on the bed that made them both freeze. Inside, photos of her mother in the hospital bed, taken through the window. Photos that someone had snapped while her mama slept, vulnerable and unaware. The note was typed, anonymous. "Leave Miami today or she gets sicker." Aiden's jaw tightened as he read over her shoulder. "Pack everything. You're staying with me until we figure out who's behind this." She wanted to fight him, wanted to maintain her independence, wanted to prove she didn't need rescuing. But looking at those photos of her mama, defenseless in that hospital bed while strangers watched through windows, her pride crumbled. "Okay," she whispered. Because sometimes survival matters more than pride. And sometimes the person offering help isn't trying to control you. They're trying to keep you alive. His private estate felt like a fortress, but the real walls they needed to break down were between each other. The gates closed behind them with a sound like a vault ceiling shut. Aiden's compound sprawled across private beach, contemporary glass and stone rising from white sand dunes like a modern castle. The infinity pool seemed to pour directly into the ocean, creating an illusion of endless water under the darkening sky. Amara stepped out of the car and felt the weight of isolation settle around her shoulders. No paparazzi here, no screaming headlines, just the sound of waves and the electric hum of security cameras tracking their every move. "Guest wings upstairs," Aiden said, grabbing her damaged suitcase from the trunk. "Private entrance, your own bathroom, balcony overlooking the water. You don't have to see me unless you want to." She followed him through rooms that belonged in architectural magazines. Minimalist furniture, art that probably cost more than most people's houses, views of Miami's skyline twinkling in the distance like fallen stars. Everything was perfect, expensive, and cold as ice. "Why are you doing this?" she asked as he set her suitcase down in a bedroom bigger than her entire apartment back home. He turned from the floor-to-ceiling windows, and in the dying light, his face looked younger somehow, more vulnerable. "My stepmother," he said quietly. "She married my father when I was 12. Sweet woman, or so we thought. Turned out she was feeding information to gossip magazines the whole time. Every family dinner, every private moment, every mistake I made as a teenager, it all ended up in print." Have you ever had someone you trusted betray your deepest secrets? When did you learn that not everyone deserves access to your private life? Share your experience below. She sold stories about you for 3 years. My father found out when I was 15, but the damage was done. I learned early that people see dollar signs when they look at me, not a person. He sat on the edge of the bed, suddenly looking exhausted. "You're the first woman who's ever told me no. The first one who seemed annoyed by my money instead of excited by it." The space between them felt charged, dangerous. She could see the boy he'd been, hurt, betrayed, building walls to keep the world out. But she could also see the man he was now, offering her sanctuary when her own world had exploded. "My mother taught me that men like you don't fall for women like me," she said, settling into the chair across from him. "Your mother never met someone like me." His voice dropped to something rough, honest. Someone who's been waiting his whole life for someone real. The ocean crashed against the beach below, and suddenly the expensive room felt smaller, more intimate. He stood and moved toward her, not predatory but careful, like he was approaching something precious that might break. Amara. Her name on his lips sounded different than it ever had before. Important. She should have stepped back, should have maintained the distance that kept her safe. Instead, she tilted her face up to meet his gaze, and the electricity between them crackled like lightning before a storm. His security system's alert tone shattered the moment like glass breaking. Red lights flashed on the panels throughout the room, and Aiden's expression shifted from tender to terrified in a heartbeat. "What is that?" she asked. He was already moving toward the monitors, fingers flying over touch screens that showed camera feeds from around the compound. "Motion detector. Someone's on the property." The screen showed a figure in black scaling the compound wall with the efficiency of someone who'd done this before. But this wasn't a random intruder. They knew exactly where the cameras were positioned, moving through blind spots like they'd studied the layout for months. "We need to go," Aiden said, grabbing her hand. "Now." "Who is it?" His jaw tightened as he recognized something about the intruder's movements, their silhouette, the way they navigated his property, like they belonged there. Someone who's been here before. The man climbing through Aiden's study window wasn't a stranger. He was family. Marcus Blackwell dropped from the window frame with practiced ease, designer shoes silent on marble floors. Aiden's business partner and half-brother straightened his tie, like breaking and entering was just another Tuesday evening activity. "Hello, brother," Marcus said, his smile sharp enough to cut glass. "Miss Jenkins. You're even prettier in person than in those delicious photos." Amara pressed herself against Aiden's side as recognition hit like a punch to the gut. This was the Marcus she'd dated back in Atlanta. The one who'd proposed 3 months ago. The one she'd turned down because she couldn't burden him with her mother's medical bills. "You know each other," Aiden said, and it wasn't a question. "Oh, we know each other very well," Marcus purred, pulling out his phone. Though Amara never mentioned she was coming to Miami. Imagine my surprise when I saw her all over the internet with my dear stepbrother. The pieces clicked together in Amara's mind like a combination lock opening. "You set this up. The hotel reservation mix-up, the photographers, the drugged wine. The broken reservation system, yes. The photographers, absolutely. The wine." Marcus shrugged. "Just a little something to help you relax. Though I must admit, I didn't expect you to be so resistant to my brother's charms that you'd pass out in the hallway instead of his bed." Aiden's hands clenched into fists. "You could have killed her. Please, I'm not an amateur. Just enough to blur the edges, make the evening more memorable. The photos needed to look authentic after all. When did you realize someone you thought you knew was actually your worst enemy? How do you handle betrayal from family? Tell me in the comments." "What?" The word tore from Amara's throat. "I told you no back home." I explained about my mother, and I respected that decision until I realized you were planning to throw yourself away on some cruise ship job when you could be so much more useful here. Marcus moved closer, and she caught the scent of cologne that used to make her feel safe. You see, Aiden's virgin image is worth about $2 billion in conservative investor confidence. But a scandal? A scandal with a poor black woman from the wrong side of Atlanta? That crashes the stock prices and opens the door for new leadership. You want to take over the company, Aiden said. I want what should have been mine from the beginning. Daddy always loved you more, gave you more, trusted you more. But trust is a luxury you can't afford when family is involved. The study felt like it was shrinking around them. Marcus had played this perfectly, using Amara's desperation, Aiden's loneliness, and their natural attraction to create a scandal that would destroy one brother and elevate the other. But he'd made one crucial mistake. He'd underestimated what happens when two people who've been used their whole lives finally find someone worth fighting for. You're right about one thing, Aiden said, moving to stand fully in front of Amara. Trust is a luxury. Good thing I stopped trusting you months ago. Marcus's smile faltered. What's that supposed to mean? Security cameras, Marcus. Motion sensors, voice recordings, everything you just confessed? It's all being transmitted to my lawyers, the SEC, and the FBI. Aiden pulled out his phone, showing a recording app that had been running the entire time. Corporate fraud, harassment conspiracy, you've just handed them a case. The color drained from Marcus's face as sirens began wailing in the distance, growing closer. You can't, he whispered. I already have. But Marcus wasn't finished. Men like him never go down without trying to drag everyone else into the darkness with them. He looked at Amara with eyes that had once convinced her he loved her, and smiled the smile that had once made her heart race. Did you tell him about the baby? The words hung in the air like poison, and Amara felt the world tilt sideways. What baby? Aiden asked, his voice deadly quiet. And that's when she realized that some secrets, no matter how well you bury them, always find a way to claw themselves back to the surface. The baby Marcus mentioned had died at 8 weeks, but the lie was designed to destroy what she'd just found. There is no baby, Amara said, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. There was one. For 8 weeks, 3 months ago, before I ended things with Marcus. The study went silent except for the sound of approaching sirens. Aiden's face showed no emotion, but she could see him processing, calculating, trying to figure out if this changed everything between them. Marcus's smile turned cruel. Funny how you never mentioned that little detail in your sob story about medical bills. Were you planning to tell him before or after you got your hands on his money? The medical bills were never from me, she said, meeting Aiden's eyes directly. They were always from my mother. The pregnancy, I lost it naturally, at 8 weeks, which is why I couldn't marry you, Marcus. Because I realized that losing something I thought I wanted showed me what I actually needed. Have you ever had to explain your most painful moments to someone who matters? When life forces you to share secrets you weren't ready to tell. Comment below about finding strength in vulnerability. And what was that? Aiden asked quietly. To matter to someone for who I am, not what I can give them or what I represent. The sirens were getting closer, and Marcus was running out of time to inflict maximum damage. But Aiden surprised them both by stepping closer to Amara instead of away. Is that why you turned him down? He asked. The proposal? I turned him down because he proposed right after I told him about losing the pregnancy. Like it was a consolation prize. Like marriage would fix what hurt instead of understanding why it hurt. Marcus laughed, but there was desperation in it now. How touching. The poor girl with a tragic backstory and the rich boy with abandonment issues. You deserve each other. Red and blue lights flashed through the study windows as police cars pulled up the circular drive. Marcus's time was up, but he had one last car to play. You want to know the real joke? He said, backing toward the window he'd climbed through. I never actually wanted her back, but I knew if I could use her to destroy you, I could take everything Dad should have left to me in the first place. He was gone through the window before security could stop him, disappearing into the Miami night like the snake he'd always been. But the damage he'd intended to cause had backfired spectacularly, because instead of driving them apart, the truth had done something neither of them expected. It had made them choose each other. Aiden turned to face her as police entered the study, and the look in his eyes wasn't judgment or disappointment. It was something fiercer, more protective. "Are you okay?" he asked. "Are you? I mean, finding out about the fact that someone hurt you badly enough that you couldn't trust anyone with your heart until now." He moved closer, close enough that she could see the gold flecks in his brown eyes. "That just makes me want to prove I'm different." The police took their statements, collected the evidence, began the process of building a case against Marcus that would end his freedom and his ability to hurt anyone else. But through it all, Amara found herself watching Aiden, seeing how he answered questions with her protection in mind, how he made sure she felt safe even surrounded by strangers asking about the worst moments of her life. When the last officer finally left, they stood alone in his study, the space feeling different now that all their secrets were in the open. "So what happens now?" she asked. "Now we figure out what this is," he said, gesturing to the space between them. "Without scandals or lies or people trying to use us against each other." He reached up to touch her face, fingers gentle against her cheek, and she realized that for the first time in her life, someone was choosing her after seeing all her broken pieces instead of in spite of them. When he kissed her, it felt like coming home. 2 weeks later, they turned the tables and gave the media exactly what they wanted, a love story so perfect it made the scandal irrelevant. The plan was Aiden's idea, but Amara refined it with the street smart edge that comes from surviving in a world that underestimates you. If the media want a story about them, they'd get one, just not the story they expected. "The foundation launch has to look natural," Aiden said, adjusting his tie in the mirror of his downtown office. "Like something we do whether the cameras were there or not. Because it is something we do anyway," Amara replied, smoothing the cream-colored dress he'd bought her. Designer, but not flashy. Expensive, but not trying too hard. Everything calculated to send the right message. The Amara and Violet Foundation for Medical Equity, named for her and her mother, was designed to help families facing impossible medical bills. The kind of families Amara knew intimately. The kind whose stories never made headlines because poverty isn't glamorous enough for prime time. Have you ever turned your worst moment into your greatest strength? When did crisis become opportunity in your life? Share your transformation story below. "Media's already calling it a publicity stunt," she said, checking her reflection one more time. "Let them. By the time we're done, they'll be calling it a love story." The press conference was held at Miami General Hospital, where Amara's mother was finally receiving the treatment that was saving her life. Cameras from every major network crowded the small conference room, reporters ready to tear apart whatever performance they thought they were about to witness. But when Aiden took the podium and began speaking about meeting a woman who showed him what real strength looked like, something shifted in the room. When Amara joined him and talked about turning her mother's illness into motivation to help other families, the cameras stopped feeling predatory and started feeling like witnesses. "People think this foundation is about charity," Aiden said, his hand finding hers at the podium. "But charity implies someone is broken and needs fixing. This is about justice. This is about recognizing that healthcare shouldn't be a luxury item." "My mother has stage 4 cancer," Amara added, her voice steady and strong. 3 months ago, I was ready to do anything, sacrifice anything, to save her life. But nobody should have to choose between dignity and survival. Nobody should have to sell pieces of themselves to keep the people they love alive." The room was silent except for the click of cameras, but it was a different kind of silence than before. Respectful instead of hungry. Interested instead of predatory. After the press conference, they walked hand in hand through the hospital corridors to visit Amara's mother. Violet Jenkins looked fragile in her hospital bed, but her eyes were bright and fierce when she saw them coming. "My baby girl," she said, reaching for Amara's hand, "and the man who's been taking such good care of both of us." "Mrs. Jenkins," Aiden said, settling into the chair beside her bed with the easy comfort of someone who'd been visiting regularly. "How are you feeling today?" Like I'm going to live long enough to dance at your wedding, Violet said with a smile that made both of them blush. The cameras caught that moment. Aiden's gentle laugh, Amara's surprised joy, the way her mother looked at them both like they were exactly what she'd been praying for. It was intimate and real and impossible to fake. That night, as they drove back to his compound, Amara felt something settle in her chest that she'd never experienced before. Peace, maybe, or hope. The media is already changing their story, Aiden said, scrolling through his phone. Foundation announcement is trending, but not as a scandal. As news. Good news or bad news? Love story news. He pulled the car over at a scenic overlook, Miami's skyline spreading out below them like scattered diamonds on black velvet. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the city lights reflect off the water, both processing how much their lives had changed in just 2 weeks. Are we really doing this? She asked quietly. Building a foundation together? Fighting to change a system that nearly broke you? Falling in love in front of the entire world? He turned to look at her, and the expression in his eyes made her heart race. Yeah, we're really doing this. When he kissed her this time, it felt like a promise instead of question. Marcus's arrest made national news, but the real victory was watching him lose everything he'd tried to steal. The FBI had been building their case for 3 weeks, following the trail of corruption Marcus had left behind like breadcrumbs leading straight to his cell. Corporate fraud, harassment, conspiracy, market manipulation. The charges kept piling up until his lawyer stopped returning his calls. Amara sat in the gallery of the federal courthouse, watching the man who'd once convinced her he loved her get led away in handcuffs. Aiden's hand was warm and steady in hers as they listened to the judge deny bail for the 3rd time. Flight risk, the prosecutor had argued. Defendant has already demonstrated a pattern of deception and manipulation spanning several months. He has the resources and connections to disappear. Marcus's eyes found hers across the courtroom, and for a moment, she saw not the calculating predator who tried to destroy her life, but the charming man who'd taken her to dinner in Atlanta and made her believe she could have a different kind of future. The difference was that now she actually did have a different future, just not the one he tried to force on her. When did you realize that the person you thought was your enemy had actually been your greatest teacher? How did betrayal become the catalyst for your best life? Tell me in the comments. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed like mosquitoes, but their questions had changed. Instead of asking about scandals and gold digging, they wanted to know about the foundation, about her mother's recovery, about the wedding rumors that had been circulating since the hospital visit went viral. Miss Jenkins, one reporter called out, "Is it true you and Mr. Blackwell are engaged?" Amara looked at Aiden, and he squeezed her hand with a smile that belonged just to her. "We're engaged in changing the world," she said diplomatically. "Everything else is private." But that night, in the privacy of his study where this whole mess had started, Aiden proved that some private moments are worth the wait. "I have something for you," he said, pulling a small velvet box from his desk drawer. Her heart stopped. "Aiden, it's not what you think." "Well, it is," but he opened the box to reveal not a traditional engagement ring, but something even more meaningful. A simple platinum band with 2 birthstones, hers and her mother's, surrounded by small diamonds that caught the light like captured stars. "It's a promise ring," he said, suddenly looking nervous in a way that made her chest tight. "A promise that whatever we build together, we build as equals. That I'll never try to rescue you because you don't need rescuing. That I'll never ask you to be less than you are because you're already perfect." She was crying before she realized it, tears that tasted like relief and hope and something that might have been happiness. "And if someday you want to make it official," he continued, sliding the ring onto her right hand instead of her left, "we'll do it because we choose each other, not because the world expects it." The ring fit perfectly, like it had been made specifically for her hand, which, knowing Aiden, it probably had been. "You know, this means I'm stuck with you now," she said, admiring how the stones caught the light. "I'm counting on it." When they made love that night, it felt different than before. Deeper somehow, more connected. Like they weren't just 2 people finding comfort in each other anymore, but partners building something that would last. Later, as she traced patterns on his chest in the darkness. She thought about how Marcus's betrayal had been designed to destroy them, but it ended up creating something stronger instead. "Thank you," she whispered against his skin. "For what?" "For seeing me before I could see myself." His arms tightened around her, and she felt the truth settle into her bones like warmth spreading through cold water. This was what love was supposed to feel like. Not desperate or frantic or trying to prove something, but steady and sure and built to last. Tomorrow there would be more reporters, more foundation work, more of the complicated dance that comes with loving someone in the public eye. But tonight, they were just Amara and Aiden, two people who'd found each other in the middle of chaos and decided to build something beautiful instead of letting the world tear them apart. 3 months after Marcus's arrest, Amara stood in her mother's hospital room, watching the monitors show normal readings for the first time in 2 years. The experimental treatment had worked. The Foundation's first success story was her own family. "Baby, you saved my life," her mother whispered, squeezing her hand. "But more than that, you saved your own. That man loves you for real." Outside in the hallway, reporters waited. Ever since the truth came out, the media wanted their love story. The redemption angle, the fairy tale ending. But Amara wasn't sure she was ready for that spotlight again. Have you ever been afraid to be happy? When good things happen after bad times, do you worry the other shoe might drop? That fear of trusting joy, it's real. Aiden appeared in the doorway, 2 cups of terrible hospital coffee in his hands. 3 months of being together through everything, and he still brought her coffee exactly how she liked it. Too much sugar, splash of cream. "How's she doing?" he asked softly. "Better. The doctors say she can go home next week." Amara accepted the coffee, their fingers brushing. Even now, that simple touch sent electricity through her. "Good, because I have something to ask you." Her heart skipped. They'd been through hell together, built something real from the ashes of scandal. But the question in his voice made her nervous. "The reporters downstairs, they want a statement. About us. About what comes next." He sat beside her, close enough that she could smell his cologne. The same scent from that first morning, but now it meant safety instead of confusion. "What do you want to tell them?" "The truth." His green eyes met hers. "That I love you. That this wasn't some publicity stunt or business arrangement. That you're the best thing that ever happened to me." Her breath caught. They'd been saying those words to each other in private, but saying them to the world felt different, bigger. "The stock prices are back up," he continued. "The Foundation is thriving. Marcus is facing federal charges. We won, Amara. But more importantly, I want everyone to know you're mine." His possessiveness should have scared her. Instead, it made her pulse race. "And what if I want everyone to know you're mine too?" His smile was devastating. "Then let's go tell them together." The press conference was controlled chaos. Cameras flashed as they walked hand in hand to the podium. Aiden spoke first, his voice steady and clear. 3 months ago, my reputation was destroyed by lies designed to hurt both Amara and myself. Today, I want to set the record straight. His grip on her hand tightened. Amara Jenkins isn't a scandal. She's the woman I love. The room erupted with questions, but he held up his hand. She's also my business partner. The Blackwell Jenkins Foundation has already helped 12 families facing medical crises. We're expanding nationwide next month. Amara stepped forward, her voice stronger than she expected. "People said I was after his money. The truth is, we're giving it away, together. To families like mine who need hope when everything looks impossible." After the questions died down, they walked out into Miami sunshine. The same city where their story began with suspicion and scandal now felt like home. "No regrets?" Aiden asked as they reached his car. "About falling in love with you?" "Never." She turned to face him fully. "About trusting you when I shouldn't have? About letting you save my mother? About building something beautiful from something ugly?" He cupped her face in his hands. And I love you too. Publicly. Officially. Completely." Their kiss tasted like coffee and promises, soft and deep under the Florida sun. When they broke apart, she noticed a photographer across the street. But instead of hiding or running, she smiled and waved. Let them take pictures. Let them write stories. Some scandals end in destruction. But sometimes, if you're brave enough to fight for what matters, they end in something better than you ever imagined. 6 months later, the Blackwell Jenkins Foundation occupied an entire floor of a downtown Miami building. Amara sat in her office, her actual office, with her name on the door, reviewing applications from families nationwide. Every story reminded her of her own desperation. Single mothers working 3 jobs. Fathers selling everything to pay for their children's treatments. Families choosing between rent and medicine. But now, instead of being one of those desperate people, she was the one writing checks. Knock, knock. Aiden's voice came from her doorway. Even after all this time, seeing him in a suit still made her stomach flutter. Let me guess, another interview request. He entered her office, closing the door behind him. The blinds were already drawn. They'd learned to create private moments wherever they could. Actually, I wanted to discuss the Henderson family case. But instead of sitting across from her desk professionally, he moved behind her chair, his hands settling on her shoulders. Her body responded immediately to his touch. 6 months of being together, and he still made her pulse race. The little girl with leukemia in Texas? She leaned back into his warmth. His thumbs worked small circles into her tense muscles. The treatment in Houston is experimental, but the success rate is promising. Cost, $200,000. She turned in her chair to look at him. Approve it. Without reviewing, Aiden, approve it. Her voice was firm. They'd had this discussion before. He still sometimes hesitated to spend big amounts, even on their foundation's mission. His smile was soft. Yes, ma'am. Have you ever found someone who makes you braver? Someone who supports your dreams, even when they're bigger than you imagined? That partnership, it changes everything. She stood up, moving closer to him. The office was soundproof, a necessity for confidential family discussions, but also useful for other reasons. We're good at this, she said, her hands smoothing over his chest. Helping people, working together. We are. His arms circled her waist. Though I have to admit, having board meetings with you is distracting. Why's that? She was already unbuttoning his shirt. Because all I think about is getting you alone afterward. Their kiss was hungry, desperate. The stress of running a foundation, the constant media attention, the pressure of being public figures, it all melted away when they touched each other. He lifted her onto her desk, papers scattering. Her skirt rode up as he stepped between her legs, his hands tangling in her hair. We have a meeting in 20 minutes, she gasped against his mouth. Then we better make this quick. Later, as they fixed their clothes and gathered the scattered applications, Amara felt that familiar glow of satisfaction. Not just physical, though that was incredible too, but the deeper satisfaction of building something meaningful together. The board wants to expand to California next year, Aiden said, straightening his tie. Good. There's a lot of need there. It will mean more travel, more time apart during setup phases. She looked at him carefully, having second thoughts about mixing business and pleasure. His laugh was rich and warm. Never. I was actually thinking we should make it official. Her heart stopped. Official how? Married, Amara. I want to marry you. The words hung in the air between them. They talked around it, hinted at it, but hearing it stated so plainly made it real. Is that a proposal? No. His grin was mischievous. When I propose, you'll know it. I'm just giving you fair warning that it's coming. She threw a pen at him, laughing. You're terrible. I'm in love. Same thing, apparently. Their meeting went perfectly. The board approved 3 new family cases, including the Henderson girl. As they walked out together, Amara felt the familiar satisfaction of a day well spent. But more than that, she felt the deeper contentment of building a life with someone who understood her completely. The scandal that brought them together was long over. What remained was better than any fairy tale. It was real. The Foundation's first annual gala was held at the same hotel where they first met. Amara had insisted on it, despite Aiden's concerns about bad memories. Sometimes you have to reclaim the places that hurt you, she told him. Turn them into something beautiful. Now, standing in a ballroom wearing a midnight blue gown that cost more than her old monthly salary, she understood what she'd meant. The space that had once represented her desperation now hosted 300 guests celebrating their foundation success. 12 families helped in their first year. Over $2 million raised. Partnerships with hospitals nationwide. But as she watched Aiden work the room, she knew the numbers weren't what made her proud. It was seeing him smile easily now, watching him connect with people without the awkward social anxiety that used to plague him. Love had changed them both. "You look beautiful tonight." She turned to find Dr. Martinez, the pediatric oncologist from Miami Children's Hospital, one of their first medical partners. "Thank you for being here tonight," she replied warmly. "How's the Henderson girl?" "In remission. The experimental treatment worked." His smile was genuine. "Your foundation saved her life." These were the moments that made everything worth it. Not the media attention or the social recognition, but the quiet knowledge that children were alive because of what they'd built together. Have you ever found your purpose? That thing that makes all the struggles worth it? When helping others becomes more important than protecting yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention. Aiden's voice carried across the ballroom. The crowd quieted, turning toward the small stage where he stood with a microphone. Amara frowned. This wasn't part of the planned program. A year ago, I met someone in this very hotel who changed my life completely. His eyes found hers across the room. What started as a scandal became the best thing that ever happened to me. Her heart began racing. He wouldn't. Not here, in front of everyone. Amara Jenkins taught me that love isn't about perfection or control. It's about finding someone who sees your heart even when the whole world is watching your mistakes. He stepped down from the stage, moving through the crowd toward her. The ballroom had gone completely silent. She taught me that generosity isn't just about money. It's about sharing your whole self with someone who deserves it. He was close enough to touch now, pulling something from his jacket pocket. The small velvet box made several people in the crowd gasp. But most importantly, she taught me that the best partnerships aren't just about business or convenience. They're about finding someone who makes you want to be better every single day. He dropped to one knee right there in the ballroom, in front of 300 people in the same hotel where they'd first collided into each other's lives. "Amara Jenkins, will you marry me?" The ring was stunning, a simple solitaire that caught the light like captured starfire. But more beautiful than the diamond was the look in his eyes. Pure love, no hesitation, no fear. The room waited in breathless silence. "Yes," she whispered, then louder, "Yes." The ballroom erupted in applause as he slipped the ring onto her finger and stood to kiss her. Flash photography lit up the room like fireworks, but for once she didn't care about the cameras. "I love you," he murmured against her lips. "I love you too. But you're still terrible at surprises." His laugh was warm against her mouth. "I'll work on that." Later that night, alone in his penthouse suite, the same one where this all began, they made love with a passion intensified by the promise of forever. Her engagement ring caught moonlight streaming through the windows as she moved above him, both of them lost in the connection they built from scandal and chaos. "No regrets?" she asked afterward, curled against his chest. "About proposing in front of 300 people? Never." His fingers traced lazy patterns on her bare shoulder. "About falling in love with you in the first place? Not a chance." Outside, Miami glittered like a jewel box. The city that had almost destroyed them had become the place where they'd built everything beautiful. Some stories start with love at first sight. This had started with confusion, scandal, and media storms. But sometimes the best love stories are the ones you have to fight for. 2 years later, Amara Blackwell, she still got a thrill from her married name, stood in the maternity ward of Miami Children's Hospital, holding a tiny bundle wrapped in pink blankets. "She's beautiful," Dr. Martinez said softly. 10 fingers, 10 toes, perfect health. Little Sophia Henderson, the same Henderson girl whose treatment their foundation had funded, gurgled contentedly in Amara's arms. Her parents had asked Amara to be the first person to hold her after family. "Her middle name is Amara," Sophia's mother said through happy tears. "After the woman who gave us our daughter's life back." These moments still overwhelmed her. The direct impact of what they'd built together, the lives saved and families reunited. Have you ever seen the long-term effects of kindness? When helping someone creates a ripple effect that touches generations. That's the real magic of choosing love over fear. Mrs. Blackwell, a nurse approached hesitantly. Your husband is here. Aiden appeared in the doorway, still in his business suit, but with that soft smile reserved just for her. After 2 years of marriage, he still made her heart flutter. How are our girls? He asked, kissing her forehead and peering down at baby Sophia. Perfect, ready to go home and live normal, healthy lives. They've been at the hospital for Sophia's birth because their foundation now funded a complete pediatric wing. 24 families helped in year 2. A medical scholarship program. Free housing for families during long-term treatments. What had started as a scandal had become a legacy. Ready? Aiden asked after they'd said goodbye to the Henderson family. In the car, she settled against his shoulder, finally allowing herself to feel tired. They'd been at the hospital since dawn, and the emotional weight of Sophia's birth had drained her more than she'd expected. Long day, he observed, his hand stroking her hair. Good day, though. The best. At home, their contemporary house overlooking Biscayne Bay felt like a sanctuary. They bought it 6 months after their wedding. Something that was theirs together, not connected to either of their past lives. Why? Aiden asked as they settled on the terrace, overlooking the water. Actually, she took a deep breath. They'd agreed to wait 2 years before starting their family, wanting to establish the foundation first. But some things don't wait for perfect timing. I have something to tell you. His expression shifted to concern. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Everything's right. She reached for his hands. I'm pregnant. The words seemed to echo in the evening air. Aiden went very still, his green eyes searching her face. Pregnant, he repeated slowly. 8 weeks. I wanted to be sure before. His kiss cut off her words, deep and possessive and full of joy. When he finally pulled back, his eyes were bright with unshed tears. We're having a baby. We're having a baby. That night, they made love with a tenderness that spoke of new beginnings and shared dreams. His hands were reverent on her still flat stomach, already protective of the life growing inside her. Boy or girl? He murmured against her neck afterward. Does it matter? Not even a little. As long as they're healthy and loved. She curled closer to him, her wedding ring catching starlight through the bedroom windows. Outside, Miami sparkled with possibility. 3 years ago, she'd been a desperate woman counting crumpled bills on a Greyhound bus. Now she was married to her best friend, running a foundation that saved lives and carrying their first child. Do you ever think about how this all started? She asked softly. The scandal? The media storm? Marcus's betrayal? All of it. The whole mess. His arms tightened around her. Every day, because it brought me you, even though it nearly destroyed us both. Especially because of that. Easy love isn't real love, Amara. What we have, what we built together, it's stronger because we fought for it. She pressed her lips to his chest, right over his heart. I love you. I love you too. Both of you now. Some love stories start with meet cuties and fairy tale romance. Theirs had started with confusion, betrayal, and public humiliation. But the best foundations are built on solid ground, tested by storms and proven unbreakable. They found each other in chaos and chosen each other every day since. That was better than any fairy tale. 5 years later, 4-year-old Marcus Aiden Blackwell, named for his father, not the uncle who tried to destroy them, ran through the foundation offices with the confident energy of a child who'd never known want or fear. Manga, look what I drew. He held up a crayon masterpiece featuring stick figures in what might have been a house. That's beautiful, baby. Amara lifted him onto her lap behind her desk, the same desk where she'd once scattered papers in passionate moments with his father. Now it was covered with coloring books and family photos alongside case files and fundraising reports. Tell me about your picture. That's you and Daddy and me and baby Emma. He pointed to each figure seriously. And that's our house and the hospital where you help people. Emma, their 2-year-old daughter, was currently napping in a corner office that had been converted into a nursery. The foundation had become truly family-run, with childcare integrated into their daily work. Some might say it was unprofessional. Amara called it authentic. Mr. Blackwell is here for the 3 o'clock meeting, her assistant announced through the intercom. Even after 7 years together, hearing Mr. Blackwell still made her smile. She was Mrs. Blackwell now too, but in the office they maintained professional titles for their staff. Aiden appeared in her doorway, as handsome at 38 as he'd been at 31, though laugh lines around his eyes spoke of happiness earned through struggle. "How are my favorite people?" He swooped Marcus up for a hug, then leaned down to kiss Amara softly. "Good. Emma's sleeping. Marco." "Excellent. Ready for the board meeting." 5 years of marriage had made them an efficient team. He handled the financial side and strategic partnerships, while she managed family services and direct outreach. Together, they'd built something that helped hundreds of families annually. But more than that, they'd built a family that worked together, played together, and loved without reservation. Have you ever found someone who makes ordinary moments feel extraordinary? When building a life together becomes more beautiful than any individual dream you'd imagined. The board meeting went smoothly. 47 families helped this year. 3 new hospital partnerships. A waiting list that kept growing as word spread about their work. The most rewarding part, Amara told the board members, isn't the numbers. It's the letters we get from families 5 years later, telling us their children are healthy and thriving. After everyone left, they gathered their sleeping daughter and energetic son for the drive home. Marcus chattered about his day while Emma dozed in her car seat, tiny fist curled around her favorite stuffed animal. At home, after baths and bedtime stories, Aiden and Amara sat on their terrace overlooking the bay. The same view they'd shared as newlyweds, but richer now with the depth of family and shared purpose. "Good day?" he asked, pulling her close on the outdoor sofa. "The best." "You." "Perfect." His hand found hers automatically, their wedding rings catching moonlight. "Though I have news." Her eyebrow arched. "Good news or challenging news?" "Good. The Miami Herald wants to do a feature story. From scandal to service. The Blackwell Foundation's 5-year impact." She considered this. They learned to be selective about media attention, focusing on stories that highlighted their mission rather than their personal relationship. "What do you think?" she asked. "I think we built something beautiful, and maybe sharing our story helps other people believe they can overcome their own scandals." That night, as they made love in their bedroom overlooking the water, Amara reflected on the journey that had brought them here. The desperate woman on a Greyhound bus felt like someone from another lifetime, though her determination lived on in the families they served. "No regrets?" Aiden asked afterward, echoing the question they'd asked each other countless times over the years. "About any of it?" "Never." She traced circles on his chest, her wedding ring cool against his skin. "About the scandal, the media storm, even Marcus's betrayal. It all led us here. To our children, our foundation, our life together. To choosing love over fear every single day." Outside their windows, Miami glittered with possibility. The city that had once threatened to destroy them had become the foundation of everything beautiful they built. Their love story hadn't started with perfection. It had started with chaos, scandal, and 2 people brave enough to fight for something real. Some stories end with happily ever after. Theirs ended with happily ever working, building, growing, loving, and serving others every day. Because the best love stories don't end. They just begin again, every morning, with the choice to love each other and the world a little bit more. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing stories. Share in the comments. Have you ever had to fight for love? What would you do if scandal threatened your happiness? We love hearing from our family around the world.